Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Humans and the Other, written by eddieddi. Humanity is a strange species, and one that the galactic community would do well to leave alone. Let us first establish something that is very important to the basis of this warning. The other, not the political other, or even the other races, but rather the other side. Most species reading this warning will have hard lessons about the other, but for those that have not, allow me to explain. The other are the title given to creatures of the other side. Our reality is capable of supporting life and allowing it to flourish given the right conditions. This, however, comes with complications. Weak barriers between our universe and others. Some rules that are strict in other realms are rather flexible here. Any creature that doesn't quite fit our normal rules is one of these others. An example of this would be the great worms of the Hurkant deserts, now long extinct and hunted down. These creatures of titanic size were logically impossible to live in the environment they did. Each worm would need to consume food and water beyond what was available on the planet alone to survive. Yet each did, surfacing only rarely to renew the stories and drag entire desert settlements down into their walls. All species have long since hunted the others of their planet to extinction, as large portions of them are a threat, and even those that are not are a little more than a hindrance. Those that do survive are kept in labs, zoos, or on display in scientific reserves. Humanity hasn't done this. It is important to differentiate humanity here. There are two strains of the species, so to speak. These two different types of humans are indistinguishable from one another. They can interbreed, they cannot tell the difference. There isn't even a genetic marker for the differences. A test clone of one of the human strains exhibits the traits of the other strain. The two types of humans are as follows: those that cannot see, sense, or interact with the other, and are even immune to them to some degree, and those that can sense and interact with them. This is important, as those humans that cannot interact with the other see it as myth, legend, or just story. Those that can have done their best to hide it from those that cannot, forming secret organizations, ancient cabals, hidden covens, and all things in between. They have been organizing the other of Earth into groups, classifications, and even moving them from place to place. They have cut deals with the others, safe passage, places to stay and hide, food and shelter, all kinds of things in return for favors, power, magic, and stranger things besides. These bleed into their offspring and make them seem strange to the humans who are immune. Some of the immune humans can notice the strangeness, this touch of the other. This has resulted in attempts to purge them, inquisitions, witch hunts, and things besides. Yet always more humans are born with this ability to interact with the other. As an example of these deals that have been struck, we will take the oldest two. The first was with the wargs of their planet. Wargs, for those that have not studied the other, are immense, intelligent quadrupedal hunters, whose taste for raw flesh is only exceeded by their love of the hunt. Back when humanity was still living in mud huts and had yet to discover metals, the first humans that could interact with the others offered a dying warg a deal. They would take in its pups and train them, guard them, and feed them. In return, its line would guard and fight for their line. As knowledge of this deal spread, other wargs started to leave their pups in and around human settlements. These creatures, over the centuries, have changed from taking on bodies that the non-aware humans can see and interact with, and in a lot of cases, the true nature of the warg has been buried under training and breeding. But those humans with the ability to see the other can spot the ones that still have that spark inside them, the ability to hunt and fight, the supernatural intelligence. Most humans just see them as very smart for their species, but those that can see know better. It is unknown if the ancient other that is the warg still can come from the line that is now a dog, but it is unwise to test the theory, as wargs still walk the human world and still take the form of dogs to get food or shelter. Some have even cut deals with religious humans and become grim incarnations of spirit and protection. and the less talked about those that have become black dogs under the command of those that can see the other, the better. These creatures are so integrated into human society that they are seen as support animals and intrinsic to the survival of some humans. If humanity was to join the galactic community, they would inevitably bring these creatures with them, reintroducing wargs to the galactic community as a whole. For this reason alone, they should not be included, but the problems continue. The second example is the cat Sith. These spirits, often found in the central continent of the human's planet, referred to as Europe, these creatures are surrounded by possible powers, from curses and blessings to the stealing of souls. Some could even be summoned to grant wishes. While the wargs were contracted to guard humans from the physical, the cat Sith instead were contracted to guard them from the other. Their powers extended into the other to a significant degree. Most contracted to guard humans, others were contracted to bring wealth to human houses. Some powers they granted those that dealt with them ranged from the ability to take on feline features to even using their powers to steal souls to attack others. The physical form of these creatures is often much smaller than those taken by the wargs, and the animosity between these species stems from an ancient argument over whose role is more important, guarding the humans from the physical or the other. The other thing to note is that while the wargs also act as companions and allies to humans, the cat Sith often simply expect the humans to pamper them in return for their guardianship they provided, often creating the illusion to those without the ability to sense the other that the physical form that the cat Sith take is lazy and has tamed humans. This, however, is not the case. Some cat Sith bring humans proof of their slain foes, dead physical bodies, or even captured totems of the creatures that they have stolen off the other side. Other cat Sith do not. Unlike the warg who allow humans to choose them and look after them, the cat Sith actively seek out humans who need their protection. The ability of the cat Sith to simply arrive in the presence of humans who need their protection, or find them through secondary means, such as approaching a human who is close to the one in need of protection, is a shocking experience for humans. The fact that they will suddenly have a four-legged furry creature following them around, demanding affection, attention, and food, is confusing as it is entertaining. The humans have dubbed this tenacity as the cat distribution system. Much like the wargs, these creatures are intrinsic to the functioning of human society in some regards, and attempting to integrate without these creatures would result in rejection by human society on the whole. This means that integrating humanity means reintroducing cat Sith to the galactic society as a whole. These two facts alone are cause for concern, however. The worst of it is the fact that these humans who can interact with the other have not only managed to integrate these two somewhat minor species into the humans, but have also managed to cut deals with greater creatures of the other. An easy example to take from this is the vampire, or as the humans refer to them, vampire. These immortal, essence-draining creatures are strange to say the least. They have not only conned humans into thinking that these creatures drink blood, rather than a specific trait, emotion, or similar. Examples include joy, hate, energy, etc. Explode in sunlight and are allergic to garlic, but that they don't even exist. They have achieved this by organizing a set of groups that work with the individual vampire to help them drift in and out of cultural relevance. Most vampires have a collection of hobbies that they have practiced over the centuries, making them adept at a wide range of skills. The most common are acting, politics, and music. This allows for the human organizations that track the vampire's past lives to help them keep up a healthy amount of funds, and often set up organizations to keep these funds safe from human governments and fund the vampire's new life. Since most vampires feed off a specific essence output, these lives always tend to have some involvement with these essences. For example, a vampire that feeds off death energy will find themselves in lives that put them in combat, or at the head of a military, or in position to start wars. This has become harder and harder in recent centuries due to the improvements in human recording technology. These groups gain benefits of the patron vampire, including access to funds that the immortal produces, the knowledge of ancient locations and ruins to gain notoriety and funds, and last but not least, the opportunity to be converted into a vampire themselves. As with the prior two examples, integrating humanity would mean that these creatures begin to slip through the cracks, and likely reintroduce vampire strains to our own species. To compound this issue of dealing with humanity further, there are the Fae that are involved with them. For those that are unlearned of the other, the Fae is a broad term for a wide collection of species of the others that tends towards tricksters, pranksters, and deal-makers. Humans categorize them even further: angels, demons, Fae, and further still. But a general outline is that these others make deals to influence humans, offer them benefits at the cost of certain things. Sometimes it is following specific rules, acting in a specific way, giving up a part of themselves or someone else. They all draw joy from enforcing their worldview on humans: absolute order and law, chaos and mischief, death and destruction, and so on and so forth. This nature is also their sustenance. What have the humans who have the ability to view the other done? They have turned these creatures into icons to worship, fear, follow, or similar, allowing them to draw powers from immense swaths of humanity. In return, they grant fractions of this power to those that have helped them into this position and cut these deals. These humans have powers that those that cannot sense the other would see as magical or unnatural. Humanity as a whole has come to accept this as simple factors of their own life, these others that they worship, fear, or distrust. So any integration of humanity with the galactic community would once again produce their introduction of the idea of these species to our own communities, as well as possibly bringing us into contact with them, as they may use the humans that cannot sense them as carriers for their offspring or lesser variants. The deepest issue is not any specific species of the other, or even the other in general, but rather the humans that have been touched by it. These humans not only have supernatural powers gifted to them by the others that they have aided, but can call upon those that they have deals with, pulling them across the space through other realms to appear beside them to aid them. Most humans simply see this as the ability to always have whatever they are contracted with on their person. Yet this means that their inability to tell the difference between these humans means that any human in the galactic community has the capacity to suddenly bring any of the others onto our planets, stations, or ships. Deeper seated than this is their inherent nature of the other to leave its touch on even those who come after it first affected. The children of those touched by the other exhibit strange traits, even if they themselves cannot sense the other. These abilities are so minor that almost all are brushed off by those who cannot sense the other. But examples include a form of minor presence that translates to an instinctual sense of incoming danger, a far better level of night vision than others of their species, the capacity to see sounds, the capacity to fix mechanical or electrical devices with ease, even if they are using previously attempted and failed methods. These gifts of the other, however, come with the detriments. Some humans are born with physical deformities, others with neurological disadvantages or impairments. Normally, these are minor, but some can be major. Our studies have yet to discover a pattern to these abnormalities. These other-touched humans function as beacons to creatures of the other, drawing them towards those that are touched by their nature, and the hope that this creature is, or is close to, one that can sense them. This means that any human taken on any ship could act as a draw for the other, putting all aboard at risk. For this and other reasons besides, I advise strongly against introducing humanity to the galactic community, or any form of contact beyond remote observation, as humanity is starting to reach the earlier stages of stellar flight. With any luck, they will not spread much further. The risk of creatures of the other coming with them is far too high. End of story. I would just like to thank the T5 supporters: Bushmaster 117, Casper Arnholtz, Draxoon WRE, Elijah Silvercross, Gray, John Carrington, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.